y'all? Welcome to Lyte Conversations, where we bring light to dark situations. All right, you're rocking with your boys, man. My name is Nishatti, if you don't know me. And I got my boy.
Oh, I have to introduce myself.
Yeah.
I'm Jonathan. I don't have a cool name like a Shotty. Maybe one day.
John, my mans. That's what we're going to call him. John, my mans. No spaces. You feel me?
Wow.
No
It's my password
spaces.
on all my socials.
John,
my mans. No spaces.
John, my mans. How you been, brother?
Just living the dream, baby.
Living the dream.
Let's start off with that, actually, for a second.
Okay, let's go.
I actually hate that using that phrase, living the dream, is like now like sarcasm.
It definitely is.
Because it's like, when I say it, like typically, I mean it, you know, and like so now it's like, you know, how you doing? And I'm like living the dream. People are always like, oh, you know, me too, and like,
right.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. I was actually being serious.
I'm being for real.
Like I want it back. Give it back to me. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's my soapbox. All right, that's it for the episode. We'll see you guys next time.
See y'all next time, man. We had a good time with you.
Yeah. Stay tuned for John's next soapbox.
We need this section right here.
Yeah, so whatever you're mad at,
John, right.
Let's
let it all out real quick.
I feel great. Now I'm living the dream.
Come on,
Back
dog. Hey, all right, y'all. So I figured we would go in. We would start with who we are, what this podcast is about, right? So it's named Lyte Conversations, Lyte Conversations. The Lyte stands for Let Your Truth Encourage. So we are just here to inform and here to inspire. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't know you had a little abbreviation action. That's nice.
Come on, John. I know we talked about this in the gym,
I do
bro.
like conversations. You were like bringing light in dark places, dark situations.
Come on.
I didn't know there was like a whatever we call that. That's not alliteration.
He was locked in the gym, y'all. If he would have been listening, he would have already knew
whatever.
this ahead of time. John, what is let's start from the beginning. What is the reason that you would want to do this podcast?
If you want me to be completely honest, it's because I actually hate being like on camera. I hate being out there. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but because I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. Like I just don't care about people knowing my name. I don't care about like any type of credit. I don't care about any of that.
Right.
And if I'm being like super honest with myself, it's because you know I hate my voice. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I talk. It's like all that stuff. So it's like, so how do you get rid of that? You just avoid it.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, I want to fix that. You know, I want to like force myself through hating all that. So here we are.
So you ain't going around the fears. You ain't even trying to hide from the fears. You going straight at them is what you're trying to tell us, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that, you know, anybody who knows me, hopefully as you guys continue to listen, is that like I'm very honest about who I am, like my strength, my weaknesses,
for sure.
And like I'll just tell you, it's like, hey, I suck at that, but
right.
You know, I'm gonna figure it out. Like, that's what I'm gonna do, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think you don't give yourself enough credit sometimes too. And I think that's like we talk about that all the time. That's something I'll be on his head about nonstop, y'all, because he truly don't give himself enough credit, man. The man's talented. It's one of the reasons I think why we clicked. I'll start here though. The reason that I wanted to do a podcast, and this podcast to be like entrepreneurship. We're here to inform and here to inspire. But one of the reasons I wanted to do is because I'm from a small town, right? And nobody's giving us the game. There's nobody who's killing it with entrepreneurship. Nobody told us that, right? So it was either dribble the rock or slang the rock. You had two options. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wasn't good in sports, which I wasn't, then you was hitting the streets, which I was. And
which we play basketball every day, and that's actually not true. You're pretty good at it. I did beat him twice for the record.
I got better over time.
I beat you twice.
And I got to keep him playing, so I got to let him beat me.
Yeah, and I blocked him. I got one block.
That wasn't a block.
It was
a steal.
Anyway, all right.
If it wasn't up here, then it was down here.
You were going up for the shot.
For all my basketball fans, listen, up here is a block, right?
No.
If he steals it right here before I even take it up
you
for
were
a shot.
in the motion of shooting.
No, I was in the motion.
It.
No, I was in the motion of trying to take it up for a shot, and you piddle-paddled it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, back to it.
But yeah, so I was just trying to give the information to people who aren't around other people, other entrepreneurs, people who's giving them the game information. Man, that's what we hear. That's what we here for. We're gonna break down things that we going through. Like I'm into real estate heavy. This man is a serial business buyer. You know?
No. No, I also think too is like, because if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking like, okay, great, another podcast about entrepreneurship. Like there's literally a million of them.
Break it down.
And I think that the one thing that you and I do really well is like we're not afraid to ask the stupid questions that maybe people that aren't stupid aren't asking, but it's just like they just don't know what to ask. So like a lot of times, like people will be like I'm not gonna name any names, but a lot of people just preach at you or like tell you like, hey, this is what you should be doing. Like, go grind. Like, well, what does that even mean? What does that mean?
Exactly. Give me some instructions.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I want to be able to provide, because I just have always been this way, is I just ask questions. If I don't know, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to know.
Likewise.
I'm just going to ask,
Right.
So it's like, I want to have a spot where we kind of foster that and like we lean into that, so it's like when we have people on, you recorded the Cha-Cha Slide guy.
DJ Casper. That's coming soon, y'all. It's coming soon.
And it's like, we want to be able to ask these people questions that like, that everybody's seen their interviews, but like when you say do this, what do you mean by that? And like just really kind of break it down and like almost like we're slower,
for
like
sure.
Mentally slower, because other like if because there's like a stigma around asking questions, right?
There is,
where it's like, hey, if you ask, that means you're stupid.
Right?
Well, I don't care about that. Like, call me stupid. I'm gonna ask the questions. But by me asking questions, there's hopefully somebody else out there that was like, hey, I really wanted to know that too. I just didn't ask,
Yes.
And then on the flip side, it's like, so if we're talking about like, hey, Charles, like an episode's going to be like, give us step by step on like how you would actually do what you're doing with like the houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's like we want to be able to provide a safe place. Is that
for sure
for people to ask questions?
Exactly. I mean, because you may not be live with us or anything, but you can hit the comments and ask questions, or maybe we'll bring it up in the next podcast. Like, hey, we had a question in the comments about such and such. Let us break it down in simple form. So anywhere I go, I always tell people, hey, I'm a slow learner. I just am. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if I am fast at it, then I want you to be surprised. I'd rather under promise, over deliver, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, hey, I'm a slow learner. And most of the time I am. If it's not something within this type of realm, I ain't going to catch it up fast. But when I get it, I get it. But until then, expect me to ask 1,000 questions. You going to get it. Okay, yeah, we're doing this, but why are we doing it this way and not that way?
Right.
Why, I'm not trying to go against what you're saying. I'm just trying to get an understanding. Because once I have an understanding, I can go do it.
Right.
And I can duplicate it and I can show others how to do it as well. So, man, we will not be offended by any questions or, hey, what did you mean by this? Like, please ask them in the comments. Please ask us on our social media networks. Like, we are going to get the answers. Even if we don't know the answers, guess what? We're going to get somebody on here who knows it, or we're going to go figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
Right. John, so how we, let's talk about us. How did we come together?
Let's talk about us, baby.
Hey!
Let's talk about you and me. All right. No, we're working. Well, actually, so I was working at a marketing company.
Yep.
Here in town, and this crazy guy actually saw a job. We used to do job postings every week. I'm trying to get people in, do shadow days, stuff like that.
Yep.
And this guy answered one and drove. It was 5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours just for a job interview.
Yep.
And then I think didn't you have to turn around? You come back the next day again. So you drove 5 hours back.
So I was already here visiting some friends. God gave me a word that I was supposed to be moving here. So I was just trying to be obedient, and I was trying to move ASAP, right? I was here in Tulsa. So I left 2 days later. I put in my application, and then y'all answered that day. I was like, dang, it's fast. I said, dang, God, you must really want me here. Mind you, this is my first job ever as an adult. Like, no joke. We'll get into that later on, but like this is my first job ever, so I'm like, dang, they answer fast. I hear you, Lord, I hear you. So
I got it.
It says like, I think it was like interview on Thursday. It's Tuesday at this point. I'm like, gosh, I just got back. You know what I'm saying? So drove up there for an interview, right? Then they was like, okay, I think we want to hire you or whatever. Come on back for what was it, like a shadow?
Yeah, it's a shadow. So yeah, you're going around to the different jobs that we have, because the way it worked there is like you would start, like here, and then work your way up. There's a lot of room for advancement, but we wanted to show you all of the things that you would be doing or could be doing.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I think, was it the next day?
No, it was that Monday. So this is Thursday. Then it's like, come back for Monday. Yo, I live in Kansas. This is in Tulsa.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? This ain't no around the corner trip. It's 5 hours. They like, come back on Monday. I don't know if I told y'all that at that time, or I can't remember. But I was like, come back on Monday and we'll do a shadow and we'll see what's up.
No, we didn't know that because we used to have Monday morning meetings. It was like an all staff meeting.
Yep.
And so one of the guys called you out and was like, hey, give us your story. And you're like, actually, I'm 5 hours out.
Okay.
I drove 5 hours in, and so then that one was when I was like, "Oh crap!" Like, he's like, "This is dedication." Like, he wants it.
Exactly.
And if you want it, like, you can.
Different ball game. So I drove back 3 days later for the job shadow, and they're like, "Hey, you got the job, etc. This is what you'll be doing." And matter of fact, I remember y'all both even said was like, man, we don't know anybody else who would drive and do this besides us.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. Like the mindset is always there. Knowing what y'all were doing in there, that was a different ball game, right? But the mindset has always been there. I've always been a grinder. So yeah. So 3 weeks later, I moved her to Tulsa. Just like that. Just like that. So we take it from there, John. When I first came in, what was your perception of me?
Well, I think, I mean, anybody who's just tuning in can see this, but it's like you're very likable. You have a lot of charisma. And so you bring energy in any area that you're in. That's just what you do. So, and we can talk about this later, but it's like when two people meet, everybody has their own force, right?
Yep.
So it's like, so if I'm coming in with like a bunch of negative emotion and you're coming in with positive emotion, whoever's got the stronger one wins. So you'll start affecting me, or I can start affecting you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's good.
And you just bring in such energy and positivity that any place you go in, you instantly pick other people up. And so you just putting you in a team environment. Now all of a sudden the team's better because they don't even know why. It's just like they're feeling it, right?
Right.
And you can know that from like if you know one of these people. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's like those people are invaluable. Yep. Because they can infect or affect anybody or anything that they touch. And so it's like, so I saw that from day one. It's like this guy, like almost you have to be almost a crazy person, which you know I am, right? To drive 5 hours for a job interview. So you like really got to want it, like 5 hours there and then back and then there and then back again. Yeah. Yep. So you're 20 hours in minimum at this point, you know. Yep. And so like that alone just shows like that you wanted it, and that's a big thing that I'll talk about often. I'm confident. But then two is like you have this likability and this ability to affect other people. And so then I was like, all right, cool. Like he has, you know, and so my job at the time was like, you could get hired on, but then my job was like to find the right people for the right spots. Yep. And so I think you started at the very bottom, which was the search engine team, and then
SEO row. Shout out to SEO row. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Very quickly, you moved out of that spot, and that's just because you have the ability to like. I mean, one, you can hold people accountable, but the way that you do it is like well received because people like you, you know, and they like they just want to be around you. Right. And so you started at the bottom, but then very quickly got promoted to, I think it was assistant manager, right? And then a manager after that into a store. And just, and then as, you know, as you were there, our relationship kind of fostered and grew. And eventually it got to the point where I don't remember how long you had been there, but we started working out together because I was like, hey, this guy's, you know, big guy. I got whatever he's doing, you know, I want some of that. And because like, I don't know anything about working out. I just want to be told what to do. Like, you know, like just see heavy weight, pick it up. Like that's I'm very good at that. Like whatever that is, like, I got that
for sure.
And I think we were working out. It was like 2:30, right, or something like. It was like
3 o'clock. We started at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So we had to get up at 2:30 to go work out, and like you were like, I don't love that, but I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you did it. Yep. And to me, it's like consistency over time is really what like separates like people that are up here versus people that are down here. Right. You know, and so it's like, so if you can work out with somebody and like, you know, every day they're there at 3 o'clock, then like, what can't you do with that person?
That's deep. I hope y'all, oh my gosh, we gonna let that breathe for a second. I hope y'all caught that. That was good right there. So let me tell you my mindset when I talked to him too. So he called me. I was working at the time at Elephant, and he was just like, hey man, I want to work out. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, I'm like, what time you thinking? He like, 3 o'clock. I'm like, 3 o'clock? I'm thinking in my head, this boy's crazy. What's wrong with him, man? But I was like, okay. Now me, I'm an open person, right? So I'm not the type of person that's just going to shut anything down. I'm like, okay, let me be open because I know over time, once we get there, if that 3 o'clock ain't working, I'm going to be honest. Like, man, it ain't working. Maybe we need to go to 4, etc. But me knowing John, it was more than just a workout for me. You know, I seen your grind, I see your consistency. Matter of fact, let me back all the way up to the beginning from when I met you. My story may be a little bit different from his, cause I ain't know John. So I walk in there, I'm not from here. I'm down here by myself. At the time, my wife was still in nursing school. You know what I'm saying? But I heard a word from God, so I had to come. I'm down here, and I don't know who this John guy is. He's always bouncing to music, so I could tell the music is in him, right? Always bouncing to music. But he keeps staring at me, and I'm like, man, I don't know who this fool is, but why you keep staring at me like this? So for about a week, I probably didn't even like John because
nobody does. It's fine.
It's not
you. It's not you. It's me. It's not you. It's me.
I didn't know, but little did I know, because I didn't understand your position either, right? I just knew that you were there. I didn't know what you were there to do. I just knew that you was there. So, but little did I know he was going back and letting them know the things that I was doing, the influence, the energy, etc., which eventually got me moved up in a couple times. So, but it started off rocky with me and John, to say the least. I really didn't know, so I was just scoping him
it
out.
started out rocky with you and me in your mind.
In my mind,
I was
right?
like, wow, this guy is solid. Yeah.
But I was just trying to figure him out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm coming from different environments, and I'm like, man, I don't know these people, and I'm open though. You guys, you said to be here, so I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna take it with everything I got. And let me tell you a little bit more about John. John's a pot stirrer. Oh my gosh, he's a pot stirrer. I met this guy when I first got there, and it was the day I shadowed, and he told me he did music. I'm like, oh man, I do music too. So that was that, right? That was before I even got hired. So it was maybe like a week or two later. John was like, you put up the music. Matter of fact, right there on the screen. I don't know if you even remember this.
Yeah, I remember.
And then you said to perform it, and I kind of performed it, but I hadn't performed that song in so long. I was like, dang, that wasn't even my best. And I was even telling God, like, if I get another chance, I'm about to rock the house. Like, they don't even see what I really got. Like, I really do this. You know what I mean? And then literally, I get back from lunch, and you're like, hey, you want to rap battle Will? And
shout out Will.
Shout out to Will. And I'm like, man, nah, I ain't about to. I was like, man, that's the first person I met. I ain't about to rap battle them. Now me, I mean, if I could be completely honest, I'm like, man, I do this. So I ain't about to make Will do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to put him in that space. So I'm like, nah, I ain't about to do it. Guess what John said? Well, he said he'll do it. I'm like, well, shoot, count me in there. You know what time it is. Like, it's on and popping. And it was less of a rap battle, more of us just really just displaying how good our talents, should I say. But it was fun, and but I just knew John was a pot stirrer, but it was just enough to get you that competitive edge. But I liked it. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's important, though, is like, yeah, I'm a pot stirrer. I'm not shying away from that. But like, but more importantly, when you're any type of like leadership or management or whatever, is like you can learn so much through competition.
Right.
So
I agree.
One is like if you have competitive people that like take your brand seriously and like they're bought in, then there's really nothing you can't do with that person. Right. Second thing is like how you respond to competition also speaks a lot about you. So it's like, so you and I can be like real competitive. I mean, if we're being honest, other than the time that I blocked the shot, like you always win in basketball most of the time, right? Right. But it's always competitive to me. But it's like, but you can beat me, and then I can just like it doesn't like foster bad feelings towards you. Yeah, no, no. Yep. And so it's like so when you're any type of like leadership or management, or you want to like just see like who you have on your team, you know. And so it's like if you have other like-minded people that are like going to be competitive, they're going to like push other people. It's like there's just so much you can do with that. So yes, I am a pot stirrer, but I also just like I want to foster and breed competitive spirits. And then in a like good and healthy way. Right. And I can see that too. Cause I'm probably, man, I'm competitive over a thumb war. If we're gonna do a race, like I'm that guy, I'm gonna get out there and do it. So for me, when I first came there, I felt like it was my environment. Y'all had music going, you know what I'm saying? Like the energy was good. I'm like, shoot. I'm like I ain't gonna lie, I literally felt like God designed that place for me to come and like display what I do, because up until the end, like, you got to realize when you grow up in a place, people just get used to how you are. So for me, I was regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say I knew something was different about me, right? But for me, it was just what I did, like the positive energy, stuff like that. That was a part of my makeup. But when I went there, it was like, oh, it's a superpower. I'm like, man, this is regular. Like, what am I? I'm like, I keep telling my mom, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I just feel like this place is for me. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna get something from here. Like, I feel like God truly sent me here, because I only put in one application. I wasn't happy about getting job from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm so grateful because it brought this right here. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, over time, me and John, we just kind of chop it up because he's a black as white guy I know. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, we just came together. You know what I'm saying? And it just worked, man, because I think we both just had the same attitude, right? It was no excuses, grind hard. You know what I'm saying? No excuses, grind hard, competitive. Yep. You were later on in your career there, you started doing the music videos.
Oh, we gotta get to that too, yeah.
And you asked some feedback of mine, and like when I would tell you, like, I'd say 9 times out of 10 you're like very receptive to it,
for sure.
And like and so that too is like coachability. You cannot That's so important. Is like if somebody, if you respect somebody at all in any capacity and you ask their advice, it's like how you receive that. It's not only receiving it, but it's like also implementing it.
Yep, for
and
sure.
So,
for
and it's
sure.
like, so that's what you also did. And so it's like all these things, it's like kind of mirroring the other person in us. And so anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. And that was my thing with John too. I call him a sniper rifle all the time. He's one of those guys. I only know a few of them, but he's one of those guys that you ask him a question, he's going to give a direct answer. It's like he's going to give you like 11 words, but it's going to be absolutely everything that you needed. Me, I'm an AK-47. I'm going to tell you about how I came about it, how it relates to my life, and how it's going to help you too. But he would just give like real quick, good advice. And it wasn't that you had ever did music or anything like that before, but I was like, man, this dude is he's wise. Like he keeps it real. That's one thing I never had a question is like, is he keeping it real? Is he? And we all know fake people, right?
Yeah.
So after you have a conversation, guess what you're thinking in your head? I wonder if they're talking about me behind my back. I know they're talking about me as I walk away.
Yeah. Or you get to the place that you just assume that like you're just like, I know the moment I leave here, you're gonna be saying something.
There you go. Yeah. And I never ever got that feeling with you. So I was like, man, he's solid. Like, and you upfront, you honest. I can deal with honesty. I can deal with having hard conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what makes your friendship grow or your relationship grow with whoever it may be. But like being able to have it as opposed to harboring that hate in your heart or that anger in your heart that may blow up in a different way or a different manner. So yeah, long story short, he hits me up and man, he's talking about 3 o'clock. I'm like, ain't no way. So I'm back to being open, right? Because he's talking about receiving what was he just talking about earlier? The advice that he was giving me,
coachability.
Right? Coachability. There we go. Going back to coachability because I may not like everything you say, but I'm but I'm real enough to be like, I always ask myself. So this is a lesson for y'all right here. When a person tells you something, obviously look at the person, look at their character, right? But ask yourself 2 questions. Are they hating or are they keeping it real? And then when I ask myself those 2 questions, I'm like, man, he's keeping it real. Okay, I guess I didn't see that. Or he may have a different perspective of what I have. Yep. But let me try it anyway. Let me see how it worked. Just to say I did it. And that's what comes to being open, right? I didn't like the 3 o'clock number that you threw at me.
No.
Not at all.
No.
But I said, let me be open. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so less about the weightlifting. We're going to get it in regardless, right? But it was the relationship that I felt that God was developing. Even last year, I'll share it with y'all. Like I put on my crazy faith list top of December, last December. And it was just like, I asked God to help me and John's friendship flourish, you know what I'm saying, even more. And I knew that's what that weightlifting was going to do. I'm like, he's giving me exactly what I asked for. You know what I mean? So that was what back in, when was that?
So I have no concept of time. So like most people's like my 1 minute is like everybody else's hour.
Right.
So it's like everything's extrapolated out. So
it's been a little minute, long story short, but eventually we finally got to 4:30. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is we eventually got to 4:30, but had I never took that 3 o'clock, we would have never got to 4:30.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think like nobody really wants to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And
right.
I understand that's a popular thing now, and especially podcasts. Right. It's like, oh, get up early, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Well, the truth is, and this isn't me being like braggy or whatever, but like I had stuff to do, so I had to get up. So, I was at the office at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so as we were doing it, we were kind of building that relationship, and I was able to like move responsibilities either off my plate or onto somebody else's or whatever.
Yep.
It actually freed up that time.
Right.
But by that time, it was like, I'm willing to move these other things around because of the relationship that we've built.
Yep, most definitely. And like I said, that's why you got to be open, man. If you are wanting to be around somebody who is doing what you want to do, or you just feel like they got good vibes, man, sometimes you have to make those sacrifices and see what comes of it. You know what I mean? Had I not did that, I would have been like, nah, and maybe I would have left that job, or you would have left the job, and we never would have been where we are now. But because of that, I was able to develop that relationship that I was asking God for. And really, he gave it to me. He didn't give it to me. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. He didn't give it to me in the box that I was wanting it in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember a couple times like, let's go out to eat. Let's go to lunch, da-da-da-da. He's like, all right, cool, let's figure it out. But we never did. But that wasn't the package that needed to be packaged in. But he brought it to me straight to the crib, right? But it wasn't in the package that I wanted. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. What am I supposed to do with that?
Well, and I think that's important too. To like, yeah. So if you're praying about something and like you really want something, it's like, well, I mean, God's still God, and like He knows best, right?
For sure.
So it's like if we're being 100% honest, is like, if had you said no, let's do 6. And we'll start working out at 6. Like to me, there's a dime a dozen people that will work out at 6 a.m.
Right.
You know, so it's like, yeah, you don't want to get up that early, but like you also don't know that like it was speaking to me that you were getting up that early, which was then helping our relate. You know, so it's like, so yeah, it's like it might not be in the package you want just because you don't see it all, but you're not supposed to see it all because you're not God.
Boy, you're preaching right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's preaching right now. Boy, where the oil at? I done left the oil downstairs.
Get out of here.
Where is the oil at? God, now you're so right. And because I remember when I first came there, too, I had that, when I first came to Thrive and I was doing SEO, right? I'm like, listen, ain't nobody about to beat me in here. Like, nobody. What time? So I started asking people what time they got there. 7, 7, 6, 6. And then John, like, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm like, the heck? I'm like, dang. I tell my wife, like, I'm going to have to get up pretty early to beat John in the office. And no joke, I came in there a couple times at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Who is already at the computer bouncing like bouncing already? I'm like, dang, he here. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes I think he used to work out there, so you'd be putting your socks on and everything. I'm like, he ain't playing. Like, this is real deal Holyfield. But I seen what God was trying to do. He was trying to put me around people that were on the same thing. I was on just in a different area. Show me that different type of grind. I had that type of grind, but I wasn't waking up at 4 a.m.
Right.
I was having it in different areas in different ways, right? But it was putting me around people that's like, I'm putting you around people just like you so I can show you.
Well, no, I mean, people have said this a million times, but it's like, especially relating back to more entrepreneurship, unless you and I, no offense. But no, it's like a lot of times you have to do things that you don't want to do. So then you can get to a place where you never have to do the things that you don't want to do.
Say that one more time.
No, just like, I mean, people have said it, you know, like it's there's more eloquent ways to put that, but it's like there's always a time of struggle in the beginning, always. Like you have to go through a struggle in the beginning and then struggles throughout there. So then eventually you get to a place where there are no struggles. You know, so it's like, so if you don't want to be doing something, but you just have to like attach it to whatever the goal is of doing that thing. So you shouldn't be doing anything if you don't have a goal for it anyway, right? So it's like if you're driving, you're going somewhere. Okay. So if you're hanging out with somebody, it's like, okay, they have to be doing something for you, whether it's like you're pursuing a business relationship, or you just want like a buddy to like be able to trust or whatever. There has to be a goal in mind, right? And so whatever you're doing, if you don't want to do it, but the goal is greater, then do it, and then eventually you don't have to do it.
Oh my gosh. This man said don't hop in the driver's seat if you ain't got a destination. And just like that, we back, my man. We right back. Right back ain't cheating, right?
I don't even know what that means.
So when you shoot dice, right, and you know it's back to street dice. You shoot
we get a little lesson in real quick.
Right. When you say right back ain't cheating, so let's say I roll 6. 6 is my point. You want to say, oh, right back ain't cheating, and then you hit it. Boom. That means you hit it right back. So right back ain't cheating. I ain't cheated, but I got it.
Unless you cheated, then it would be cheating.
That's true. Some people can lock dice is what they call it.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it gets sticky. It gets sticky. Right back to entrepreneurship, though.
Right back ain't cheating.
Right.
Here we are.
But just sacrifices. I think if anything you do, you're going to sacrifice in the beginning, right? You have to, because the way I describe it, let's say you're starting a business right now. Your business is a baby. The way you got to do with a baby, you got to burp them, you got to feed them, you got to hold them.
Wait till they come back.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
man.
no?
Hey, don't send your kids to
kidding.
John's house. Do not send your kids to John's house.
Good advice. Do not be sending kids to my house. Nobody wants that. Me included.
Right. But when the business is a baby, right, you gotta truly care for it. You gotta be there nonstop. Every time there's a little cry, you gotta go see what's going on, etc. Right? But as that kid starts to grow up, you can slowly but surely back off. You can even get a nanny. You can get a babysitter. Or once they get, let's say they get to middle school or high school, they can start watching themselves. That's your business right now. It's in the baby stages. You can't afford to have nobody else watching your baby but you. You must be on it. You have to stay on it. You got to be every little nook and cranny. Develop what? Systems. Let's talk about systems real quick.
Well, I actually want to backtrack a little bit. I think everything in life, not to be too woo-woo or whatever, but literally everything in life is a trade-off. And it's like people want to like make these big ideas, but like just really simplify it. So hanging out with you means I'm not hanging out with somebody else.
Right.
It means I'm not doing something else. So it's a trade-off, right? So it's like if you, let's just pick on, like let's say if you make the choice to play video games,
right,
then you can't be doing something else because you're doing that. So it's like, let's say you need to be reading some like entrepreneurship books, or you need to be doing a budget, or you need to be doing, something, anything, literally anything. By not doing that and something else, you're making that trade-off, right? So everything in life is a trade-off.
That's true.
And so it's important to just always be thinking about
your time.
Yeah, it's like, if everyone says, well, it's the most important thing. It's like, yeah, everybody knows that it's the most important thing, yet we still decide to give it away. It's just breathe. It's just interesting. Anyway.
Woo-hoo-hoo. He said time is the most important thing, but you still give it away. Okay, you making your cars, let's say your car is worth $20,000. Would you give it away? Honestly, would you give it away for free? No, you would not. So why are you giving your time and your energy and your efforts away for free for somebody who truly don't care about you, who are not going to implement any of the things that you are telling them, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or are just lollygagging through life. And I ain't knocking you for lollygagging through life. Trust me, I done been there before, but I'm not there right now. I got to go where my flock is. I got to go where I can grow. I got to go where iron is sharpening iron, So that's how me and my boy John, my man's got here. You feel me?
Also, if you're going to give away a car that's worth $20,000, just hit us up.
Yeah, man.
We'll come see.
hit the link in the DM.
Yeah, that's what I do. Let me know.
Get a car away. We take it, man.
I'll make that trade-off of the time I'll come visit you for $20,000 car. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fact. All you got to do is hit us up. I promise we're on the way.
Yeah, we'll both be there. Yeah, we'll go halfsies on the car.
Already, most definitely. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. Oh, let's see. Anything else, John, before we wrap up, man? Anything else that people should know?
No, I think something I think we should do is like leave people with an action item or something, So it's like something to do. So like as a result of watching or listening to this, what should you do?
Ooh.
And so for me, the one that, and we can both have our own, but like the one that I would encourage people to just like do like an inventory of your time. It's like, so every hour that you spent today, what did you do? And write it down.
Yep.
And then that way, and you don't have to show people this. You don't have to show us. You don't have to, whatever. This is not an accountability thing.
Yep, for sure.
This is just for you. It's like, okay, right. Well, if I claim that I want to be successful, because who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be successful, right?
Everybody wants
Let's
to be
say
successful.
You're like, hey, I really want to be a business owner that's worth, $1 million. Or I want to be like the manager at the job that I'm at or whatever. It's like, okay, so what are you doing on a daily basis that gets you closer to that? Because if you're not going closer, you're going further away. There is no such thing as being stagnant when it comes to your goals, right?
Come on in, John.
So how you fix it is just go, okay, do an audit of my time. Where is it going?
Yeah.
Okay. And what in this time that I'm spending, because everybody has the same amount of time.
For sure.
What in this time am I spending is actually keeping me or pushing me further away from my goals?
Yeah.
And is it worth it? So it's like, it's an easy example to say video games. It's like, hey, I play video games for an hour every day.
Yep.
I'm like, that's fine. But if you're doing that instead of working towards your goal, whatever that is, then stop saying you even want that goal because you don't. You're not doing anything with it.
Talk, my dog.
So that would be my action item is like just take a time, like an audit of your time every hour. Just write down what you did. And then at the end of the week, just go, what of these things could I maybe not even get rid of, but like at least lessen?
Yeah.
So then I could do something else.
Right.
And maybe you're amazing and you're 100% don't need that at all, and you use 100% of your time for your goals. And
that'd be nice.
If you do, then
very rare.
Tip my hat to you.
Very rare, but that'd be nice, right? Oh, okay. So he said evaluate your time. I would say evaluate your friend circle. How many people, in the words of TD Jakes, how many people are feeding you and how many people need you, right? Because you may be a strong force so much that everybody does what? Depends on you. Hey, can I get this? Hey, can I get this? Hey, can I get this? And guess what? You're probably saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get my time. You get my time. You get my time. How many people are feeding you though?
Yeah, it's. That's good.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's good. I just saying it's like you're not a church.
Yeah.
You don't have to give your time to people that don't deserve it, and some people just don't deserve it.
That's a fact.
So I'm not saying like just cut everybody off your life that's like not actively helping you. I'm just saying like just be protective over it.
For sure. Because also what I was going to follow up with that is like, now evaluate your goals.
Yeah.
How many of those people that you are hanging out with are helping you move towards your goals? Not just financially, maybe just how you want to be as a man. Are you hanging out with people that you see like, man, he's a stand-up guy? What about a marriage? Okay, man, he's a good husband, or she's a good wife. Or what about parents? Hey, man, they some good parents. Like, I really want to kind of glean off them and kind of learn some things, right? So evaluate your time, evaluate your friends, and evaluate your goals. That's what we're going to leave you with.
Nice.
That's what we're gonna leave you with. That's heat right there. You want to end it right there, John?
I think we should have like cut it at the goals. You know, like that's
All right, let's go it again. Let's go it again. Evaluate your. Hold up. We're gonna go it again.
Yeah,
y'all.
Y'all
ready for this? Y'all ready for this? All right, let's do it. Evaluate your time. Evaluate your friends, and the third one is evaluate your goals.
Cut.